Hello students, Namaskar. I welcome you all to the Himachal Minds video lecture series. Here we will be discussing about certain aspects of public finance, as public finance is very important in understanding the budgetary process and the economic survey. So as we all studied the economic survey of Himachal Pradesh, the first chapter, and second chapter we have to deal with the public finance also. Now what is public finance? The public finance pertains to that section of the finance ministry, okay, that concerns itself with allocating resources and constraints of budget. This is important point, which allocates resources and the constraints of the budget. Now if we are into the deep consideration of public finance, we should know the public finance according to the the article 266(1) of the Indian Constitution, it deals with the constitutional consolidated fund of the state, in which we have all the aspects of money earning and money spending by the state government. Simply as that, we can say that the amount of money that is earned by the government and amount of money that is spent by the government all deals with the public finance. Okay, and then also public finance and identifies the types and consequences of what? It identifies the types and consequences of tax measures, expenditure on citizens, and also the public finance is also concerned with improving the economic procedures. So this is all about public finance that you should need to know in basic ideologies. Okay, and when we deal with the consolidated fund of state, it is divided into two parts. One is the revenue account, the another one is the capital account. Now while reading this revenue account and capital account, I will tell you the important aspects that you need to keep in mind. The revenue account is reoccurring and frequent, but the capital account is your deals with the liability, and also we can say it as the long term. It has the long term values. Now when we deal with the revenue account, what should be in our mind? The revenue account is of two types. One is the revenue receipt and the another is your revenue expenditure. The revenue receipt purely belongs to the government. Receipt is nothing but the income that the government is getting, and the income is from various sources. Now these sources of the revenue receipt, what are these? We should take in consideration. The number one is tax revenue, the tax that we are paying in the form of direct tax. Direct tax can be your income tax, or we can say the corporate tax, or we can say some kind of duties like the custom duty. Okay, then we have indirect taxes. Indirect taxes, the best example is your goods and services tax or the value added tax, that comes under your indirect taxes. Then we have non-tax revenues. Now what are these non-tax revenues? Let's see that we have PSUs also in our government institutions. These PSUs are the public service undertakings. Now these PSUs consist of some profit holders. If this PSU earns some profit, the profit is divided in between the shareholders. Each shareholder has a certain amount of profit. That share per profit is called as dividend. That dividend comes under the non-tax revenue, or so-called profit comes under the non-tax revenue. Then the interest, that earnings of loans given by the government, interest earning on loans given by government. The interest is what? Let's assume a party A or a person A or a company A takes some loans from the government. That party has to pay that loan, that principal amount, along with the interest. This interest has to be paid frequently. This frequent interest payment comes under the interest earning on the loans given by the government. Simple as that. Then the fees and penalties also come under the revenue receipts. Fees, for example, if we have to take admission in a university, in a government institution, or some courses, then we have some prospectus fees. We have some entrance fees for a entrance exam. And the service commission charges also some fees for your entrance examinations. The penalties in the form of challans, that comes under the revenue receipts. Then we have the factors which tells about the revenue receipts. The revenue receipts neither create liability and nor reduces the assets, because it is frequent, and this money totally belongs to the government. This inflow of money that the government is earning to the revenue receipt totally belongs to government, and the government has total amount of control on this, purely belongs to the government. Then we have expenditure. This is the revenue expenditure. Now what is revenue expenditure? The salaries that the government has to pay to the employees monthly, okay, or you all know the pensions also for the senior citizens or the retired personnel. So this is frequent, this is reoccurring. The government has to pay it for sure. So this is recurring and this is short term. So this comes under the revenue expenditure of the government. Now the government has to pay some subsidies also, pay for the subsidies in form of the food subsidy, in the form of fertilizer subsidy, in form of energy subsidy. Now this subsidy in case of food, as we all know, is the highest that the government has to pay. For example, we have ration depots, we get the where BPL and also the APL families get the food at a subsidized rate. This is under the expenditure, revenue expenditure of the government. Then we have interest payment. Let's assume that the government has taken the loan from external party, for example World Bank and ADB. The government has to pay the principal also plus the interest, but here the interest is reoccurring. In the time frame the government has to pay the interest reoccurring, okay, and certain times till then the the value is not reached up to that principal amount and the interest. That interest payment is reoccurring and that comes under your revenue expenditure. And the health education quality, for the health and education I would say here, not the infrastructure, okay, not the infrastructure, that deals with the health and education revenue expenditure. Now the factors for the revenue expenditure here is that it neither creates assets neither nor reduce a liability. Hence, in case if we see for the revenue part, here it is revenue receipt and revenue expenditure, they both does not come with a liability and does not reduce any assets. So liability and assets factor here is downsized. It's doesn't matter to the government in this part, where in the revenue account. But when we come across the capital account, this capital account is quite a liability for the government. Okay, now the capital account consists of your capital receipts or the capital so called income, and the other comes the capital expenditure, so called capital expendite, that the government has to expend or expenditure is done by the government. And this, my dear students, is a long term process. It is long term process. It is not a frequent process. As we all know, if we take loans, we don't take loans regularly. We take in a certain amount of time, and when we put a building or we buy a flat, we don't buy it regularly, or we don't do it regularly. We do it in certain phases. So it is a long term thing that comes in the capital your expenditure and capital receipt. Now the capital receipt is like the government has to borrow certain amount of money from the PF, the provident fund of the employees, and the small savings, and that money doesn't belong to the government, the PF and the small saving, that government has to repay back. That comes under the capital receipt. It's a liability over the government, that is the borrowings done by the government. Then the disinvestment process. For example, if we have a public service undertaking, government does a strategic disinvestment of that process. What does it do? It reduces its assets are reduced. Whenever the assets are reduced, that comes under the capital receipts or the borrowing. And when the recovery of loan is done, I told you of example beside the revenue receipt or the revenue expenditure. For example, if I am giving a loan to a certain party, here it is, I am giving a loan to a certain party, that principal amount and interest had to be paid by that party to me. For example, I am the government, and that principal amount will come under, okay, recovery of loan will come under the principal part of the of the capital receipt. That will come under the capital receipt, that recovery of loan. And when the disinvestment is done, the disinvestment can be in the form of shares, and those shares will be in the form of capital expenditure. It is a long term, okay, that is creating an asset for the government. The loans given by the government creates an asset, so that also comes under the expenditure. And the repayment of loan, for example, if we have taken, the government has taken the loan from the external parties, for example the World Bank or so called, let's take an example of Asian Development Bank, then the government has to pay that loan with the principal plus interest. The interest will come under the revenue expenditure part that we studied beside this part, and the principal amount will come under the repayment of payment in the expenditure, capital expenditure, which is long term process. Then we have investments in infrastructure and so called machinery. Investment in infrastructure may be the building of big hospitals, big schools, colleges, educational institutes. That comes under your assets creation, and it reduces the liability. Hence, if we have to take the part of the capital account, what we can see here is that it is reducing your assets and creating a liability factor, okay, or creating assets or reducing liability factor, vice versa. And what is revenue deficit then? The revenue deficit is that when the income is less and the expenditure is more, then the expenditure, revenue expenditure minus the revenue receipt, here we are dealing with the revenue part, that is your revenue deficit. Okay students, then comes your budget deficit. Ideally budget deficit is total expenditure minus the total revenue or the total receipt, that is your budget deficit, and it should be 0. Then comes your fiscal deficit. This is more comprehensive and the most important term of all, that is fiscal deficit. The fiscal deficit is total expenditure minus total receipts excluding the borrowing. We don't include the borrowing here, we exclude the borrowing from this fiscal deficit, or we can say the fiscal deficit is total borrowing requirement that the government needs. So I hope this lecture you are clear with the public finance. I tried to tell you about the public finance sectors, what are these, how the revenue is generated in the government, how the revenue is spent by the government in the form of expenditure and in the form of income, that is your revenue receipts. Thank you and have a nice day.